Well, hello! Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, neighborhood photography artist, and I'm joined today with hubby.
I'm the amazing hubcap. Ooh.
And today we are doing part 2 of the fox.
What's this behind your ear? Oh, it's
Hair.
some tape.
Hey Spence, hey Bigfoot, Sheila, Sonia, Barb. Did I say Spence? Yeah, I guess Spence. Greg. Amy. Burl, and Teresa. Hey, hi.
All right. Folks.
Lots of folks. So what we're going to do is I had somebody ask about, which I had already planned on talking about the background, but I think we're going to start with the background. And my plan is to work in this area, because in working in this area, we get the fur, we get some shadow, we get some tree stump, and we get some background. That way it's all kind of discussed in this one video. So hopefully that works, and right now I am heating up my spoon shader extra large because I'm going to go ahead and touch down in the background first. I have to look at their photo because their photo is darker the way I want it. So we're going to touch down here. I'm not going by the pattern of the background in the photo because it really doesn't matter. It's not going to make that big of a difference. People aren't going to be looking for the patterns or anything like that, so I haven't worried about it. I am still going to darken it more because I really want the fox to pop. Pop the fox. Alrighty. So, before we get started, hi Kristen.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you.
Okay. Hairs in my face. Alright, so I've actually bumped down to 5, a little over 5. Maple requires more heat for the background. Excuse me.
I don't have any cocoa.
I do.
Yeah, she does. I'm making some more coffee because I have not had enough coffee.
Uh-oh.
Despite what my demeanor might indicate, I am very tired.
Alrighty, so I think because we've got dark on the tushy and I've darkened up the stump, we've got lighter for here, so we're going to touch down here and go darker. And what I've been doing is actually going in circles and overlapping them, bringing them out, going into different directions, going over some of the areas. If I want it darker, if I want it lighter, I'm moving the pin quicker like that. And if I want it darker, I'm slowing down, using more of the tip instead of the bottom, the bowl of the spoon shader, going right up against, bring it out again. I'm trying to overlap. And the maple overall does pretty good on giving us a more of a foliage texture. It kind of makes it a little holy. Looks a little holy. Alright.
Burl wants to know if you're still liking the maple.
Yeah, overall, there's places I wish this texture from the maple didn't go. Like, I think I'd want the tree stump a little smoother. For the background, other than needing higher heat, it has been a good texture for the background. Let's see here, we'll curve down. So I'm just tapping down, getting it, not outlining, but just trying to almost like undercut it. That way when I go to burn next to it, I'm not going over my pencil lines. Let's see. So the butt did come out a little bit, but I also want to make sure that I get the shape of the fur in there. And then I can just move around. If I see someplace else that I want more dark, I can pick up. I guess in this pickup that I just did like this, it allows the pen to reheat or to go back to its heat setting because the wood pulls the heat. It has nothing to do with a digital burner or anything like that. The wood is pulling the heat from the tip because we're burning it. So I just need to, every so often, just kind of move around, especially for the background. It actually helps build up the texture. And see, all this is lighter. Look at your guys' reference. But I think I want some dark here, so I'll just, when I say I'm using the tip, let me grab my test board. Alright, so when I say I'm using the tip, I'm just using the tip like this. When I say I'm using the bowl, I'm burning like that. So tip, bowl, tip, bowl.
Philip is here.
Huh?
Philip.
Hey, Philip. Alrighty. So I'm going to touch down where I've already burned, where it's darker, because it's just easier. It's a habit of mine. That way I don't get splotches. But for this background, like that splotch right there, I can use it. Because the darker the foliage is, that means the further back it is, because there's less light hitting it. And the lighter, of course, is closer. It's closer to the camera. It's closer to the light, so it's lighter. And that is what gives you depth in the burning. Because if I just did it all one color, yeah, I'd have a dark background, but it would kind of lack any depth to it. And since we have such a beautiful fox, with adding depth to the background, kind of like the photograph, it really helps it pop more. So here, I dropped my reference photo. It's on the floor. It fell. It's the one I...
You throwing stuff again?
No, it fell. I didn't throw it.
Like last episode.
Okay, I threw the scissors. Yeah, there we go. So
is that safe? No, Valarie.
It was... This is the 23 XL spoon shader, Optima. And I'm on just a little bit past 5. So on the reference photo itself, let me grab one of my other printouts. That won't show me anything but the reference I've got hanging. Alright, this was the original. If you look at the shading on the stump, that's the original photo. I deepened it so that there's more depth to it, and there's more depth to the shadow under the fox. So I need to pay attention to that reference. This reference, the original reference, shows me what things are. The updated reference shows it how I want it to be. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to touch down into, let's see, maybe I need to, there we go. I'm going to go into the shadow here. Now, in my reference I'm going by, you can't see the fur. The fur and the stump, because it's the darkest part, they've kind of melded together. So I don't want any real fur lines in here. Because, I mean, whereas you can see it in the original, and if you're doing the original without it being adjusted, then you would follow your original photo. Because I messed with mine, I'm going to go by what I did. I really need to clamp this photo. Clamp. Where are they all hiding? All my clamps are hiding.
David Zinman's here.
Hey, David. I think I got butt clamp. Let's get this clamp. Alrighty. I got clamps everywhere. There we go. That way I can see. So I'm going to touch down. Right here is that dark shadow where the fox and the stump meet. I'm actually going to turn my heat down to 4.5. Let my tip cool off for a second. Pull the heat. And when I say pull the heat, not only am I testing on my board to see what my heat level is, but when I touch down to test, it also pulls the heat to help make it a little smoother. Remember, I can always darken up. And I'm just going to keep using this pen because I can use the edge to get some fur texture if I need it, especially where it's kind of melding into the dark. You can see a little bit up here.
Bigfoot has a comment
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not sure what it means. Maybe you could clarify. I feel like it's a pun or an inside joke.
What did he say? Looking for him. Already finding some grace. I'm not sure.
Perhaps
Sure.
if you could clarify. I know it's not as funny as you have to spell if you have to spell it out. But
spell it out. Use all the letters.
David says, "I hate burning wood shapes."
Burning wood shapes? Oh, like the tree stump? I don't mind. Alright.
Oh, okay.
What do you...
I was wondering too, like what wood shapes, but
that's the only thing I can think of is the tree stump. I don't mind. Now, I'm still going with the fur, even though I'm not putting in any detail lines. And that's just because it'll give that roundness that the fox has. And that's how the fur is going. And I will darken this effect. I'm going to go ahead and bump back up. 5. Alright, get in here. Using more of the tip than I was in the background. Just bring that shadow down. What's funny is I've spent more time on the background than I have burning the fox. Not that there's a whole lot of the fox done. Touch, drag, and that, because I'm lifting with each drawdown, it allows it to heat back up and keep it more even. Whereas if I want it to be lighter, I would keep moving it while it stayed connected to the board. Alright. Now I'm not gonna, the tree stump, the lines are not outlines. What they are, again, like with all the other shadows, they're cracks and where the light doesn't hit. Now some of it we do want a strong line, and then we want to blend out. But it all depends on, and see, if I burn more to the side, I can thicken that line and draw it down. So we got a crack, bring it up. And I'll go back and smooth that out. In order to smooth it out, because I've already burned dark, I'm going to have to bump my heat to do it. Let's see here. So that is the heat. That is the shadow. I'm just mapping out where I'm at. Now on the nose it seems lighter, and that's because I have some the white charcoal on it, just so when I was doing the background I didn't go up against it, or I could go up against it but not take it out. That's all. So did Bigfoot explain?
He says, wasn't trying to be funny, just hanging out, catching a bit of inspiration. Oh,
good.
Okay.
However,
Sorry, I saw the capitalization and I thought it was a word pun or something.
No, he's trying to get your attention.
Actually meant that. So. You don't have to get my attention. I always read chat, except when I don't.
Except when he falls asleep. Okay, we're going to switch
I'm not falling
pens.
asleep today. I'm getting some coffee.
We are switching over.
Kathy wants to know what heat.
Hi, Kathy.
What level of heat you're using?
I'm on 5, but I'm burning on maple. If you're burning on basswood, you can go much lower. If you're burning on birch, you can go about setting and a half lower. Alrighty, we're switching over to the 18S small spear shader. It does better for the fur. And that way I don't go over anything. Also works because we have a small area right here of, and see this, because it's a different pen, I could have gone with a lower heat setting because it heats differently. And that's why I recommend the test boards, because all the pens heat differently. So I'm on the same heat setting, Look how much darker that's doing. Right, let's blend up. I'm at an angle that I don't like for me. There we go. Still on? Yeah. Still on the screen. Let's darken this area up. And some of this, I'm going fast just like I did on the head. Just tapping it in there. Trying to draw down the strokes more. Like that. It's crappy. Yeah, I'll have to go back and fix that. I was going to tell them something funny, but I can't remember. It was something I did. Oh. So somebody in group had sent me a message wanting help with the piece they were working on, or about to start working on, because it was 2D line art and they wanted to make it more realistic. And I had just gotten up, hadn't even gotten my coffee yet, and it turned down to 4.
I see what you're doing here.
What am I doing?
You're prefacing, you're explaining why this happened.
Well, because
I was tired, and the sun was in my eyes, and there was an alligator chewing on my leg.
I had just gotten up, and I had not had my coffee yet. It all matters. So this person, I asked for I told him, yep, I would try to help, that I just woke up, so whatever I said, who knows what would happen? Anyway, so I asked for his reference and his burning, because for some reason my brain thought he'd already started burning. And so he sends me his photo, and I'm looking at it, and again, I had not had my coffee. I'm looking at it, I'm going, damn, those lines are dark. Why are the lines so dark? Did he transfer this with the whole printer technique? Why are the lines so dark? And I did that for a good 5 minutes as I was talking to him. I even told him to make, asking what he was using to transfer, to make sure he erased, to lighten up the lines, because they were really dark. And I'm looking right at it, and then all of a sudden it clicks. It was his printout. He had his printout taped to his wood. I saw the white of the paper, but my brain just did not.
Well, to be fair, it looked like very light wood.
No, it was printer paper.
I'm trying to help you out here.
No, don't help me out. So I had to...
Is this like when you're trying to turn the page on the physical copy?
That's not. Excuse me. Okay, since he mentioned that one, while we're tapping fur in and going with the fur direction, which I could go even lighter. The 3.5. This actually happened a couple weeks ago. I was looking at something that came in the mail, and it was double-sided, and instead of flipping the thing over to continue reading, I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden I start swiping, wondering why the page is not turning. Yep, I did that. It took me a minute or two to realize, where's my tablet?
It's alright. We all do things.
Yes, you do. Alright.
There was this one time when I was getting ready for a mission, we were doing a nuclear biological chemical drill in
I went dark red.
flying.
Yeah.
And so I was getting prepped for the mission, and we have all that chemical gear on. You have like so much extra stuff to wear. So I'm in a helicopter, and I'm like adjusting my gear and stuff, and we're getting ready to take off, and the crew chief is like right outside my door. We got the doors off, and which we could do in that helicopter.
Is that Doug?
Huh? No,
Doug?
no, not Doug. Anyway, so like my pilot and I are talking, and he's like, "You're all set already?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm ready to go." And my crew chief is like listening on. He's got a pair of headset. He's got a headset that's plugged into the helicopter. He looks at me kind of funny, and I look at him. I'm like, "What?" And he reaches over my shoulder and buckles my harness like a little kid. I completely forgot because of all the other prep. Like,
not going anywhere. Do you get your seatbelt on?
Yeah.
This is darker than I want it to be in the area that it is. That is the one thing I don't like about the maple. I knew there was something. I don't like how hard it is to try to fix. Like, the knife should have pulled more fur out than it did. I don't like that. This is 220, and I'm just trying to blend it out. This X-Acto knife, the tip broke off a long time ago, but I use it because I can drop it down easier. Just put that in there, kind of break it up. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm not liking so far about the maple. Pain in the butt to try to fix it. Pain in the tushy. Yeah, I went too high with that dark. So what I'll do, I'm still at 3.5. Let's draw down into the wood. Blend it out. I don't want a seam right here. And then this side, see with this tip I can draw down, get different as the heat comes off the pen. It lightens and gives me more of a blend, and I like that. I like it. Makes my job easier. Yeah, luckily the guy I was talking to, because I apologized, said, oops, and told him what happened. Luckily he thought it was funny. He thought it was funny. Alright, so this, I need to go slower to get darker without adjusting my heat. Drop down. Maybe not connect the lines so it shows a break. Doesn't have to be straight. It's wood. The one thing we know what it looks like. I do need darker up here. This is where the fox is sitting on the wood. Down. We'll get some little tendrils in there. I'm going to go back over them. But for now, let's go with the stump, because the stump direction is going down like this. So let's.
Okay. So.
Yes.
I'm just looking to see which one of these comments I'm going to read first.
Oh.
So you have a question from Spence and also Kirsten, Music and Live. So Spence wants to know, when you're drawing down, how much pressure are you using?
I have always, for as long as I could hold a pencil, I have always squeezed. My hand looks tense, which isn't good because then my hand gets tired. But pressure-wise, sometimes I am putting a little pressure because I want to undercut, like here. Other times I have to remind myself, you just need light pressure. You don't have to use a lot of pressure in doing this. Sometimes it looks like I am, and sometimes I am because I've gotten so focused. Oh, speaking of focus, what happened yesterday?
What happened yesterday?
So when I'm tapping down, I'm not using any Like this, I'm not using any pressure. Sometimes when I'm going slower and I want it darker, there's a little bit more pressure. And sometimes I use more pressure than I need to. Keep your hand loose and relaxed. Let the pen do the work. Well, a funny thing happened yesterday when I was focused. Well, not funny for you. Funny for me.
Yeah, not funny for me.
Well, you did it.
So, like, to reenact, well, not really reenact. See, when Bella's in here,
I had my headphones
and she's
on.
not streaming. She's got her headphones on. She's usually got him turned way up, and she's like singing along or whatever she's doing. Yeah, and so I can't ever get her attention. Like I can turn the light on and off. Sometimes that works, but like most of the time I try not to startle her. But for whatever reason, I thought, you know what, I'll be mischievous, and so I came around to this side. And of course, she didn't notice me because she's focused. And I blew on her neck. And her first instinct was to backhand.
Well, stand up. You stand where you were.
I was right here.
I went to get his leg.
I don't feel good about this.
And I backhanded.
Yeah.
Well, you know where I backhanded.
Yeah, right in the junk.
You're the one who blew on my neck while I was burning.
Yeah, I'll never do that again. So, anyway. So yes.
I was focused.
So
I would never intentionally hurt you.
Kung fu fighting in here. Just one-sided though.
Well?
You disturb my burning. I give you backhand tiger claw. Suffer on the floor.
You did it. You did it. You thought you'd be cute.
So, yeah, that won't happen again.
I felt bad. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was
then
trying.
Why were you laughing?
Because it was funny. Because it was funny because I didn't mean to do it. That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to just smack your leg.
In between, trying not to throw up. But
you did it. You did it. Just like I know not to startle you when you're sleeping. Until after I know you're awake enough for me to wake you up. You know better than to come up behind me. I will react. So could you imagine if I didn't like you?
oh my God.
Alright, so I'm drawing down into and trying to blend some of the fur. I've been going up. And in my transfer, I try to transfer where the dark fur was. So let me see if I can. Because the fur is is laying over each other, but it also has areas that you can see the under fur, and that's the black part. So we want to get that in there.
Amy is laughing.
Well, of course she is.
With tears.
And I bet you the guys all went, ooh.
Yeah, it was so seamless. It was like a zen moment. She just like, it was like,
I'm a mom.
in Kung Fu we call it mind like water. So she didn't think, she just executed, and it was smooth and uninterrupted. And her opponent did not know it was coming, for her strike was as the wind.
Thanks, David. I used, I'll go back to it here in a minute. I actually can do the background with this pen as well. I've been going between the two.
So, Meryl says she's tempted to go harvest some bark and glue it under the fox. That might look cool. Or it might look kitschy, but you never know till you try.
This is true.
I
need to go up in my heat.
And,
I brought tears,
so
sorry.
Kirsten Music and Live, she's in love with the machines you can get in the US, like the Optima. But she doesn't want to risk buying it because their power is different. All she knows about there is Peter Brand, and she's asking if anybody has experience with European machines. But doesn't Pat ship?
Yes, Pat ships over there. He does a 220, 240. Richie Huelo, which I can never say Richie's last name. He's in Portugal. He has an Optima. Sheila is in the UK. I'm trying to think. There's been more and more Optimas going overseas, and people loving them. And you do have, because he does the 220, 240, but what is required is just the plug adapter, so it goes from US to European. And you may have to adjust down a little bit because we're not 220, 240, so he tries to adjust it the best he can, but sometimes it's a little off. What did Sheila say? Because she's that was Burrow. Did Sheila answer yet? Because I would say in group, no. Sheila has the most. He's got the most experience.
No, she has not answered.
Okay. She's the best one to talk to in regards to that. She had a Peter Childs before. He's really loving the Optima. She's actually had her Optima for, I think it's been almost a year now. So I've bumped up to 5. Remember, this is maple, so it requires higher heat. Even though it's quilted maple, or what they consider soft maple, it still requires more heat. And I'm just going in circles, and for this part, I probably should just keep this down. I'm keeping the tip flat, like this, versus up. If I want it to be a little darker in smaller areas, then I'll just go up on the tip, but I'm doing circles like that. Hopefully you can see. One of these days I need to figure out a camera setup where you can see how the tip is actually making connection to the wood. Alright, bring it down, come out. See, some of this area I want lighter. Remember, the lighter foliage is closer to the camera and is receiving more light. But I do need to make sure that I don't have a halo, so I got to go up in the fur. Just going in circles over and over again. It's actually, when you did what you did, I was very close to a trance because it was over and over and over again. In fact, in one spot...
So I saved your life and you thanked me by...
There was spot over here. I actually started going, started dozing off, and so I had to start thinking of something in order to stay awake. That's when I started thinking about Ray. Was so I could stay awake and figure out how we could help. So I have to be careful when I'm doing any kind, because stippling does the same thing to me. Anytime I'm doing a consistent pattern, it happens. I mean, I am the person who fell asleep on an guitar amp, while it was being played. And it was not a quiet play. Alright. So what I'm doing is going right up against the graphite. I can always go back and darken. I'm trying not to outline. I don't want an outline here, but I also don't want a halo.
Sheila's answered Kirsten's.
Awesome. Thank you, Sheila. I'm trying to remember where Kirsten, are you in the Netherlands? I think she is. There might be a little issue getting the Optima there. She'll have to look into it. Alright, so and right here, there's a ridge on the tree, so I'm tap, draw down, tap, draw down. I'm moving quickly because I want that ridge, but I don't want it to be a solid line. I want it kind of broke up, so I'm trying. To work it in there, and because I'm set at almost 5 with this tip, I can go back to this area where I don't want a line, a seam between the fox and the shadow. but still going in the direction of the fur so that it keeps its it's not continuity. Even though it's dark, you can still, maybe hard to see on camera, you can still see a pattern even though it's shaded. Guess how the strokes are. So I'm going to make sure those strokes go along with the rest of the fur. Alrighty. Let's see here. Where do I want to go? That there. I'm going to go here. Again, this is where the fox and the tree meet. So I need it darker. Because part of this is because no shadow or no light is hitting between the two, but part of it is also a cast shadow from the fox because the fox is hanging over just a hair over the tree. So we have both going on. And if you don't see the cast shadow, I think that's okay. I'm used to looking for that stuff, and I can tell right here on my photo. Like, I'm gonna have to grab another one. There we go. I can tell right here that this leg, the fur, is hanging over the tree stump, so we have cast shadow here, whereas this is an actual connection between the fox and the tree. And so that's what that shadow is. But right here is a cast shadow. That's why, also why it's bigger, because it's more spread out and soft, because the fox, what the photo is telling me is the light source is coming from this direction. Let's see here. Yeah, it's coming from this direction based on where these are the closest areas to the light source. And that's just light wood. So because the light's all hitting the fox like this, right here where it hangs over, we get a cast shadow. And that's what that is. It may be hard to see the pencil. I know I've had people asking about shadow and light, and that's why we're just kind of going over it a little bit. So the line of the fox back comes down, and then the tail this is actually the tail right here of the fox. That's the tail. That is the hind leg, as is this. This is lighter fur, but it's also receiving more light, which is why it's showing lighter. And then as it curves, our fur gets darker down in here. So that's why this area is darker, even though it's white fur. The light's being cast down, and the cheek and the snout and the lip are overhanging, which is causing that cast shadow. So these are things that we need to keep an eye on, because it's part of what makes the fox look realistic, is having those shadows. Those are important. So we want to make sure we keep those in here. And then, but at the same time, going with the direction. Because that's the way the fur is going. We can see the strokes even if it's burned dark. Even if you burn black, you can still see the strokes. So if you're burning black on anything, and you're going in the everything's going drag down, then all of a sudden you go across, you're going to see that pin change direction, and it's going to take away from your burning. That's why I'm always preaching slow down. See, I can get some of that texture in here, but then draw down over it and kind of fill it in more. Did I confuse everybody? Did I confuse myself?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
David's got to go. He's having a cat issue.
Uh-oh.
Bigfoot says combing with fire. In reference to the fur.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Combing with fire. Alrighty. So I need to know what area they want me to focus more on. Because we've gotten... See here, I got my phone call at 1 o'clock. Okay. We can do some more background. The reason I switched over to the background is because I know this background has texture and different lighting, and I needed to get this as dark as I want it to be in order to adjust the fox the way it needs to be. So that's why I've been working on the background. Plus it's the biggest area. Let's see here, we're going to bump up. I'm going to switch back over to the extra large spoon chip. Get a sip. Pull up.
Oh wow. Okay, so Kirsten has problems using the Red Peter Jr. at work, but she loves it so much she wants to invest in her own. But she has some hand problems, which results in shaking and loss of strength. It's like this pen is just too big.
Yes. It's similar to the Burnmaster pen.
Yeah.
I've seen complaints about the Red Peter. Yes, this is a pen. It really is a pen. To show you the difference. Even though I put my burners away, I didn't put...
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I gotta get
So
coffee.
the Peter Bren's going to be close to this size, which is the Burnmaster. That's how big the difference is.
Big difference.
It is a big difference. There's also a big difference in weight.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're really light.
Yeah. But that doesn't... Ooh! Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm
What
okay.
happened?
Well, I'm heating this pen and
Did you almost touch it or something?
I did touch. Well, not on the wood. I'm okay. I'm okay. The cord also matters, and this is an extremely lightweight cord. That's why I hold my pen like this, because now, even though this is a lightweight cord, it takes even more pressure off my wrist because it shoots it down into someplace that hurts less. Alrighty, so we are gonna. Alright. Okay, so I've bumped back up to 5.5. And it's just circles over and over and over again. Some are closer. Some I go slower. And so if I don't like the pattern that the foliage if I don't like how it looks, I can just go back over it, slow down. I'm dealing with not only the grain, but this is quilted maple, so I've got, that's part of the grain. Let's see here, is the quilt, and the quilt is what you see going up and down versus just the grain. So sometimes it burns a little differently, but I think once I have it sealed that it actually will hopefully add some more depth into the background. I'm doing that. He left the door open, so the heater's been on. Now we're heating the garage. First, not the seatbelt. Now, not the door. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the other side. So this is how I've been creating the background. So any shader, bunch of circles, the faster you go. Here we go. The faster you go, the lighter it is, like that. And the slower I go, pull the pen up a little bit so that I'm working more on the tip like I should before, the darker the burn. And then I can move. So not only am I going in circles, like this, but I'm also rocking back and forth like this. So it's like this, depending on what I want in any given space. There we go. Let's see here. I'm just looking at. Alright, so what's the machine divided for price for a new beginner? I've been using your standard wood burner from Walmart, but I want to upgrade to I have a review video on the Optima, which is what I'm using. That's the one I absolutely recommend over all the other ones. And just a quick, I've got a nibs burner, Colwood Super Pro, Burnmaster Eagle, the Tech Chick, whatever that thing is, dual 60 watt, 2 Optimas. I had a razor tip, gave that away. I've put all my other burners away. The only 2 burners I have out are my 2 Optimas. And those are the only ones I use. And just so you can see the difference in pins. Now the nibs burner is no longer available, other than maybe finding it used. Alrighty. So the 4 main brands in the US. What we got is from left to right: Optima, Burnmaster, Razor Tip, and Colwood. And I'll flip it. Now this is a hot pin, so I really gotta be careful. I'll flip it so you can see the actual tips. And as it turns out, 3 of these are shaders. Actually, these are all spoon shaders.
Oh, they're
of some kind.
Almost missed this because the name is similar. There's a Christina Stacy.
We're talking about the Optima right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was laughing because I was watching all the Optima comments.
Oh,
Do you remember the scene in The Mummy when all the people are like, Imhotep, Optima, Optima?
So, as you can tell, again, I've got the one on the left is on and hot. It's at 5.5. You can see the different shininess or lack thereof of the tips. The closest, there we go. That's probably a little more accurate. There we go. And I've been using the spoon shader. In fact, I tested the spoon shaders for Optima before they went out on the market. That's one of my, you can see how big a difference there is on the shine. And you can purchase, this is, I'm going to have to put the Optima pin down. I'm going to burn myself. Alright, these are 2 Colwoods. This is a Colwood. Now, mind you, this is really rough, but this is a Colwood, and it came to me this way. I didn't do this. This is a Colwood unbuffed tip. Their tips aren't quite this bad. This tip is like the worst one they have. Versus $3. Well, this tip actually comes polished. But you see how there's really not a polish on it. Now if I grab, let me see here. Let's grab, this is the 2B. This tip has been used more than this tip. You can really see the difference in the polish. Well, it is not my fault. It's not my fault.
I know.
Some companies.
I know. And from an outsider's point of view, because I am an outsider here,
Yes.
I have to say that the tips should come buffed. They should come
Yes,
polished.
absolutely.
I don't know why that's an option. It just seems lazy.
Well,
That's just an opinion. I'm not here to offend anybody.
Well, I agree. When I get a pin, when I get a burner, I don't want to have to prep it.
Right. It's
I want to go straight into burning.
kind of like having a, like, hey, you want to buy a car? Do you want it with the paint job or no paint job? You can pay a little extra for the paint job.
It'd be more chrome or
you
no
know.
chrome.
It's like, yeah, I want the paint job. I don't want the metal to rust. Come on, man.
Which one of my tips from Colwood did rust. Call me a liar, will you?
Well, I remember that happened because you were doing a comparison video or whatever, and you were
I'm still working on that.
pulling out the tips, and you're like, what the heck? This is rusted.
I can do that.
Because you thought that they were stainless, and apparently those were not.
Well, no, not stainless because it's nichrome wire.
Okay, well,
Alrighty.
from an outsider's point of view,
Yeah.
let's just say metal that does not rust.
Colwood, I'm putting you
Should
back on blast because
not.
you guys just tick me off. This is the Colwood box. I'm actually going to pull out. I'm probably going to get a thumbs down on this video, but I
Greg
don't
says
care.
somebody tripped on the plug.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a reference to what's going on.
I don't know. This is how the Colwood tips come. If you buy the kit. They
Greg
come.
says, my name is Greg. I'm an Optima user. I have tried to quit. I need help.
No, there's no help for you.
Kirsten says, welcome, Greg. Greg, there's no help for you.
There's no help.
Just go with it.
This is how all of the interchangeable tips for coal wood come. Now there's one particular tip I want to show. Now this is a tip that I have never used. It has never been plugged into the burner. And I had to go back through my videos, script through my videos to make sure. This is what it came in. I just popped the lid. Should have done that on camera. That is the tip.
It's not very pretty.
Well, that is how the tip is. Now we live in northern Arizona. That's dry more than it's wet. My studio is low humidity. And you just saw how I store my pins, my tips for coal wood.
So I guess for the people that don't know, because there are some people in chat that don't know, the reason why you have all these is because you used to be, what was the nibs burner?
Nibs
you used
burner.
to use
That's
nibs
the only
burner.
one I used.
And then Alice
Retired.
went out of she retired, and you. I'm just gonna say freaked out.
I freaked out.
And you were looking for a replacement, something that would work, and so you end up getting these pins, trying to find one that would measure up.
I bought a nibs burner. I'm sorry, I bought a Burnmaster because it said the nibs burner pins worked with the Burnmaster. It came with its own pins and the tin tips, and that razor tip could be used on it. I call bullshit, and I have told Burnmaster myself.
Such language.
Well, because I had to spin because I chose to buy the Burnmaster, right? And because they say you can use the razor tip tips, I was like, oh, I want to try ball tips. So I went and bought a good $150 worth of tips from Razor Tip. Only to find out the razor tip should not be plugged into Burnmaster pins. Because two different setups, two different thicknesses of wire, even though they both say 18 gauge. The razor tips are made for the razor tip, so it's a lower heat setting, it's a thinner metal, versus they've got the Burnmaster more beefed up than it needs to be because of the thickness of the pin and all that other, the wire and all that other crap. So within a month, I spent almost $300 on the Burnmaster kit set. Spent almost $200 on the razor tip tips, only for a month later to spend another, $160 for an actual razor tip base and another pin in order to use the tips that I bought.
And Greg says, we've heard this before. Didn't you write a novel about the journey?
I did. I wrote a damn novel about the journey.
Where is that?
That is in my Facebook group under files. So that is how I ended up with both.
You should make a video.
I'm going to. Remember, we're supposed to do it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. But I want it to be entertaining, not too boring.
I definitely feel Lord of the Rings vibes on that.
Yes. So do I.
It'll be a video about walking and also wood burners.
So that's how I ended up with those two. And then I was told I wasn't happy with either one. The razor tip pins get too damn hot, feel cheap, so the burner base feels cheap too. So I decided to try coal wood, and was disappointed there too. In fact, I used my coal wood now heats up at 3. The pin gets like as warm as this pin is here, and I'm at 5.5, and it's been on for like yesterday. I burned at 6 for an hour and a half, and my hands are very sensitive. The coal wood got really hot at 3. for the pin and cord, and it shouldn't. But there have been issues with people having their pins melt for cold wood. And once they replace a pin once, if the second pin that they replaced it with does the same thing, the warranty does not cover it. It only covers the original pin. And there have been some people who've gotten screwed over by cold wood because it happened again and they didn't replace.
Well,
so Krista, that was a long
I remember
way to get to Christina, sorry, to get to Optima.
So I remember when you, not to draw out a long story, even longer.
Hey, are you saying I did that?
Possibly. I mean, we could do the short version. She like Optima. That's it.
Yeah, but I was stubborn about it.
Well, when Optima came up, I remember that you're like really dubious about it.
Well, yeah, I'd already
like,
spent.
You scoffed at it. You're like, this guy. He says that it's better than Nibs Burner.
Or all the other ones.
Whatever. You know, I don't believe it.
Well,
I'd already see it.
I'd already spent like $1,500 on burners.
Right.
And
I know.
tips and pins and.
And then 2 weeks later, more tips.
I paid for my first Optima, which is the one I'm using here.
Yeah.
I paid for it. I asked him to send it to me so I could do a review, and I told him if I liked it, I would buy it, and if I didn't like it, I'd send it back. And he took a chance because he really thought I was going to like it. I was being stubborn, going, it's just a wood burner. And let's see here. I started testing it in October 2017. And very quickly, and it took a little getting used to, because it always does. And
Craig says, I thought I had issues. Jeez.
Hey, here's the thing, and I'm turning this off because we're going to finish up. Okay. And I forgot to ask everybody to hit like so that YouTube would tell people, hey, she's live, go watch. People are interested. Anyway, when I burn, I don't know if it's because of just my brain or my body. I'm very sensitive, skin-wise, feel-wise, smell. So I can feel, like, in minute detail, every stroke. What did you do? I heard you.
Nothing.
My hearing is also good.
Oop. Honk, 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 honk. Stop it!
So I can feel every stroke. I can feel the differences in the wood. It's really hard to explain. It's like all of this together is connected into one thing. Don't know how to explain it. So when any little thing is off, I feel it, and it makes me very cranky.
Yes, all that is true.
Yep.
Yeah, you're super sensitive.
I am.
More so.
Craig's, don't fire me.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll keep you around for a little while longer. I may torture you.
That's what she said to me. You know what?
And our wedding anniversary is in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Guess I'll keep you.
Mm.
I'm not going to hit you.
I know, you get close there. I thought you were having a relapse.
No.
That once you extended into the motion, it would just naturally continue.
Next week, because I need to have this done. I need to have this and the portrait done. I'd say no later than Monday, because hopefully I haven't fully made my mind up. But come Friday, this stuff should be going down to Phoenix for competition.
Friday?
Yeah.
This Friday?
No, next Friday.
Oh,
the 21st. Our wedding anniversary.
Oof.
Yes. No. I don't. If that was the case, I wouldn't have time. And I think I'm just taking 5 pieces to competition. So there won't be any more lives on the Fox. I think I covered everything. Hopefully I got everything for you guys and you feel comfortable. Everybody in group's been doing awesome with it. I'm really excited with all the work they've been putting in. And there's a reason why I'm grabbing these. Alright, so I think what's going to happen when I grab the right pins, come next week. That's not the right pin again. There we go. What we're going to do is, I've been meaning to do this, and there will be a short video version of it. But I think we're going to take a live or two to go over the different pins, what they do, how they look. So we'll go over the different pins and testing them. That way you can see them, decide if that's a pin you need or you want. That way you can see it in action. They all feel the same. Mind you, these will feel a little heavier because they have 2 foams on them that I put on them. Like right here is the small, medium, and large. The spear shaders, the 18s. I may do like all shaders next Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday we will look at skews and ball tips. We may do it that way. Because I get a lot of people asking because they don't know what the pins look like or what they do, which are all legitimate questions. So the next 2 weeks we're going to go over the pins, and then we will start our March owl, which Burl will be gone.
You're going to start it when she's gone?
I am. He knows.
That's messed up.
Hey, he's the one who decided to go to Hawaii.
That's how you
He
roll.
went to Hawaii. He's going to Hawaii instead of coming down here.
Backhanded people in the gym.
It's her.
Starting owls when they're on vacation.
Don't put it where I can hit it then. Meh. I think we got everything. Please don't. Yes, so you can play it for your next pins. Yes. Considering I got a bunch, I think I'm close to 30 on pins. You don't need all the pins. This will just help you narrow down for the type of art you want to create. That way it's a little easier for you. I will post photos as I go of the fox in the group. And if we don't have any other questions,
I don't see any.
Don't forget to hit the like button, please. Got a thumbs down last week.
Whatever.
On you.
What?
Not on you, on them.
I was like, what did I do?
No, that was to them for doing that.
Oh.
Yes, Amy, then you'll know which ones to order. The ones I always recommend for general starting burning is...
General starting.
General starting. Let me grab them real quick. Alrighty. Alright, these are the 4 I recommend. And that is the 7th, from left to right, the 17 SR. Great for fur and lines and hair. The 9M, which we used on the eyes. The 19M ball tip, which is a good overall. This is like would equal like one of the smallest ball tips, so that's kind of spread out. And the 18S, or M, sorry, and or the 18S. On Mountain Wood Carvers, we can't even have them change it. The Drawing with Fire of Val's wood burning pins. This is the set that he's selling. So,
can you? There's one thing that this. Can you pull one of the ones that has more than one foam on it?
Oh. Well. Okay.
Because that's an option still, right?
Oh yeah, you can get.
Because
his extra foam is actually 3, but that's too much foam for me, so I pulled off the extra. And some of them were test pins, and I pulled the foam off the test pins to put on the second. My hand is smaller, so where the heat hits my hand may be different from yours. But the third foam, because he pushes them like all the way together, the third foam was too much for me. This to me is perfect.
So,
you don't need a third.
But it is an option if you.
It want. Yeah. When you do extra foam, he automatically does 3, but you can pull off the third one, and put it on another pin. And I think he charges $1. I think, don't quote me on it, for extra foam.
Yeah.
So
if your hands are hurting, it might be an option to
Yeah.
try. I just wanted people to be aware of it.
The one that I requested that Pat now makes is the 17 SR, which is this guy, and the difference is this is the regular 17, the regular 17 SR. This is the modified, or 17 SR and the 17. This curves easier. I don't care about them, but okay. This curves easier, and that's why I wanted to change. Alrighty. Don't forget, there is something about you. Do you know what that something about you is?
Yes, don't sneak up on you in the studio, otherwise.
You are awesome. Oh. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. Happy burning, guys. Watch more videos so YouTube tells people about me. Bye.
Stop waving your arms.
No,
Dangerous.
it's fun. You're safe.
Oh, I'm not.
You're safe. I love you.
Love you too.